G'day guys, what's going on? I'm just bringing you my thoughts on the market currently. There is a trade setup that I really like occurring right now, so I thought I'd just do a quick video update because it's kind of a detailed explanation, so it saves me a lot of typing doing it this way. And it also lets me demonstrate something pretty damn cool, which is if you come up and look on the top left hand side, you will see that VEMA now has FTX integration. So it's still in the testing phase, so we haven't released it to the betas yet, but this is going to be the first live trade I ever actually placed on FTX through VEMA, and so I am pretty damn pumped, to be honest. What we'll do is we will get started. So what I'm seeing on the 4 hours right now is we have a big bad supply zone up here. This is about the 46k level, which if you've been following me on YouTube, you would have heard me speak about on Monday, right? I am sort of not expecting, but I think there's a high probability of price heading up to that region because the market tends to move in waves, right? It comes up and down. And so we've had a big sell-off, a very big sell-off, right, from back up here. Really no retracement. Bit of a consolidation through this period, through here, but really not a retracement. And then we've had another big sell-off. And so I'm sort of expecting to see a retracement, right? It just sort of makes sense with the way the market moves. So the retracement to this sort of 4600 level makes a lot of sense to me. There's no guarantee it'll happen, but it would flow with the way that markets, and especially Bitcoin, tends to flow a lot more than for us to just tank down to, some people are saying 38, some people are saying 30. So I am sort of expecting to see a bit of a retracement, and you can sort of see that's sort of started to happen, right? There has been a change in market structure. So I would still consider 4-hour market structure bearish because I take a really big picture view of market structure. So I'll get into that when I talk about risk management. I would still consider 4-hour market structure bearish, but 1 hour, I think has changed to bullish. I'll show that in a second. The only other thing that I would put on my chart on the 4 hour currently is this big fibs. So you can see the 50 fib lines up really, really well with that 46,000 level. There's also a 4 hour sort of an EQ here. I mean, it's only held as support there. If I go way back, then it's held as resistance previously. But as you can see over here, we currently don't have all of the BTC perp data inputted. It will be by the time that we launch, but it's just not that, it's not a priority right now, right? There are other things that are much higher priority. Making sure FTX is working correctly is the big one, and so yeah, that's what we're testing right now. So definitely will be all the data back. I shouldn't say all, it's not my wheelhouse, but a lot more candle data backfilled before launch. So by the time you guys are using this, there'll be a lot more data to work with. But for right now, I can't go back and find where that was resistance previously. And that also brings me to, there is a daily trend line that sort of meets, so I'll have to just sort of guess it because I can't go back and get the data, but it's sitting about there, something like that. So that also makes me think that this area is it's a really good spot to be shorting, but it's, a decent chance we'll head up there to retest a few of those levels and see what happens up there. So that's my thoughts on the 4 hour. I think that's everything. The only other thing is that there is a bit of a trend break. So there, right? So we've sort of broken that really steep bearish trend and moved into a short-term bull trend on the 1 hours, in my opinion. So looking at the 1 hour, you can see we've had this market structure change, right? We were consolidating through here, and then we got a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So the 1 hour is now bullish to me, which is why I am interested in taking longs off the 1 hour. Excuse me. So you can see that 4 hour demand zone, it still looks very similar on the 1 hour, right? I might tighten up a smidge on the 1 hour, but I honestly wouldn't bother. And then we've also got a fib level. So you can see the 50 fib lines up with that area. And if we pull the fibs right back to look at sort of the entire 4 hour move, the 38.2 is really nicely in that demand zone. We've also got that EQ, which is held really well. And there is also, let me get rid of the fibs because they always bug me a little bit. It's hard to get a chart looking clean with fibs on it. I find them extremely useful, but I don't love the look of them sometimes. There's also this trend line. So what I think could potentially happen is that we sort of top out here. You can see we've wicked up very hard, been rejected. We're moving back up now, but wouldn't surprise me to see us sort of come down, retrace, retest this area, and then gather steam to continue heading up to 46,000, right? That's why I always like to have a big picture view, right? My big picture view right now is that we're more likely to head to 46,000 than not. That's not. There's definitely no guarantee, but that's sort of what I picture happening. And so I'm just going to trade in line with that big picture view until something invalidates it. So if I can catch a long from down here and ride it up to there, that's a fantastic trade. You will see the risk to reward is actually off the charts. I mean, it's clearly on the chart, but it's about 15 to 1. So that's a huge risk to reward. Now, the beauty of VEMA is that setting this trade up is really, really easy. So I'm going to take it off the demand zone. You could put your entry just above the 4-hour EQ. I think that if we hit the EQ, we'll likely wick through it to that demand zone. So I'm going to head it off the demand. I'm looking for a bounce, right? Because what I'm predicting is price to come down and bounce. Direction is long. My distance to activate, I want that to be 0, right? Because I just want it to hit the alpha line. I'm not sort of mucking around with anything else. I'm basically essentially setting a limit order right where alpha is. And so this is how I do it. Distance to activate 0. VEMA handles all my risk management for me, which is so cool. So I don't have to do any calculations. So I want a fixed stop loss, and I want my stop loss to be just below this zone. So that will be 42439. So I use the value 439. My minimum risk reward, not really important here because I'm not waiting for confirmation or anything. I know straight away if that fills, my risk reward's definitely going to be that 15. So don't really have to put a value in there. My account risk percent. So in my trade plan, if a trade aligns with a high time frame bias and the current time frame bias, so in this case that would be 4 hour, 1 hour, then I can take it for 1%. I think the 4 hour is still bearish and the 1 hour is bullish. So according to my trade plan, that's a 0.5% trade for me. My take profit is going to be way up here. I could try and run it all the way to the supply zone, but I would rather just cash out, get that 15 to 1. That's probably, 16, 17 to 1. I'm pretty happy taking profit, right? If you're getting 15 to 1, you cannot complain too much. So I'm going to set it, let's go 45595, because that has a good ring to it. 45595. So you can see, so that's a 12 to 1, so maybe it's 15 to 1 to the top one. And so then you can see VEMA has automatically done my position sizing. Now this is a really small account because I'm mucking around with, testing everything out. So I'd rather do that with not much money. My leverage is 10. VEMA's done that automatically. Profit and loss, so I stand to lose 0.5% of my account, which is exactly what I have said up here. That's beautiful. My profit and loss gain, if this comes off, VEMA's done all that. And so then I can just come to my journaling and I can say, right, reasons for entry are we've broken market structure. I think retracement to 46k is, this is where I always struggle, right? Trying to figure out which word in the probability spectrum to use. I'm going to say likely is likely. Try trading alongside that view. So my tags, this is where I can really nail in my journaling. So I am going long off a 1 hour demand zone. I have my 4 hour bias is bearish. My 1 hour bias is bullish. And so I call that conflicting bias. Conflicting bias. I don't need to put a tag for long because VEMA already handles that as soon as I select long. Same with bounce, so that's not really important. The other thing is there's a 4 hour EQ there that I'm trading off. And the fibs was the other thing. So fibs, I think it was the 50, could be wrong on that one, 50 fib. And I could, if there was patterns, I could put in tags with patterns as well. My confidence, I'm gonna go 6. I'm gonna go 6, right? Because I'm not super confident in this. I don't trade the 1 hours very often, but I really like the look of this setup. So I'm gonna go 6. And I gotta say, am I very happy this morning? I am. No, I'm very happy this morning. I'm having a pretty fantastic morning, to be honest. I hope you guys are too. And that's it, right? So then all I have to do is hit create, hit save, confirm, and now VEMA will take care of the rest for me. So you can see how quick and easy it is to set up a trade on VEMA. the FTX thing, I'm very excited about. That's the first time I've seen that symbol on my dashboard, and it is really, really cool. So that's awesome. And one of the things that I really liked, and one of the features, is this risk to reward bar. Immediately on my dashboard, I can see the risk to reward on that trade. When a trade is open, that changes, and it's a really easy visual demonstration of how the trade's going. So if you have a bunch of trades, it's really, really cool to see, oh, this one's in the red, this one's in the green, this one's almost at my take profit. That's one of my favourite features of VEMA, to be honest. But yeah, that's it from me this morning. I just wanted to run you guys through that setup in particular, because I do think it's a really, really good setup, especially with that 12 to 1 risk to reward. That is, you can take a lot of those trades and be wrong and still come out profitable. So 12 to 1 is huge. But yeah, I'm pretty damn excited to talk about the VEMA FTX functionality as well. So it's just a cool way to demo that at the same time. If you guys are free at 8 PM tonight, VEMA has a live demo, right? So get onto it. It should be fantastic. We'll be running through essentially the entire VEMA ecosystem. That might be a bit over the top, but a lot of our really unique features, a lot of the ways that VEMA can really, really help your trading. So it's a session I'm really looking forward to. It's almost like our big unveiling, because it's the first, we've snuck out some teasers and things here and there, but it's our first big, hey, this is VEMA, this is what it is. So if you can be there, that'll be fantastic. I certainly will be. I am pumped, always a little bit nervous whenever I have to do these things, but it's vastly outweighed by the excitement. So that's it from me. Hope you guys are having a ripper Thursday, and I will talk to you soon.